Valeria had always dreamed of traveling. Since childhood, she had flipped through the pages of magazines filled with vibrant photographs of exotic places, imagining herself among those landscapes. This year, after long months of working in an office, she decided to fulfill her dream and celebrate her birthday in sunny Greece. It was a place full of mysteries and stories, beckoning her like a magnet. She booked a cozy room in a small hotel by the sea, surrounded by whitewashed houses and lush green olive trees. When Valeria arrived on the island, she was engulfed by a feeling of freedom and tranquility. She felt as though her worries about work and routine were left far behind. The first few days passed in carefree walks along the beach, where she sunbathed under the scorching sun and enjoyed fresh seafood at local tavernas. She immersed herself in the atmosphere of the island, savoring every moment, but at the same time, there grew a sense of emptiness within her, a realization that something was missing from her life. On the third evening, when Valeria decided to go out to a local bar to celebrate her birthday, she could never have imagined that this night would become a turning point in her life. The bar was filled with a joyful atmosphere, music, laughter, fireworks. She sat down at a table and ordered a glass of local wine, relishing every sip. Soon, Alex approached her, tall, with a kind smile and bright eyes full of energy. He was a tourist from Italy, and when he learned it was Valeria's birthday, he offered a toast. They quickly struck up a conversation that soon turned into flirtation. Alex was completely different from her husband. He spoke with such passion about life, his travels, and the importance of finding beauty in every moment. As Valeria listened to him, she felt her heart racing. She remembered how long it had been since she experienced such emotions, how her life with her husband had become routine and predictable. Conversations with Alex were filled with sparks, and Valeria could not resist his charm. The next day, they met again. Valeria and Alex spent the entire day exploring the picturesque streets of the island, tasting local delicacies, and laughing at each other's jokes. They rowed boats, swam in the crystal-clear sea, and took photos against the backdrop of the sunset. With each passing moment, their attraction for each other grew, and Valeria felt her soul filling with life. In the evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, they found themselves on a secluded beach. The sound of the waves and the starry sky created a romantic atmosphere. Alex looked at Valeria with such tenderness that she felt a fire of passion igniting within her. In that moment, she didn't think about her husband, about her obligations, only about how wonderful it was to be here and now. She kissed Alex, and that kiss became a symbol of freedom and liberation from the shackles of routine. The next morning, as she looked into the mirror of her hotel room, Valeria realized her heart was being torn apart. She understood that she had made a choice that could not be undone. An internal conflict was tearing her apart, on one side, her passion for Alex, and on the other, her love for the husband who remained at home, blissfully unaware of her adventures. She could simply forget about it and continue to enjoy her vacation, but it was hard for her to live with such a lie. That evening, sitting with Alex on the beach, Valeria made her decision. She had to be honest with herself and her husband. It wasn't easy, but she knew she couldn't go on living like this. She had to talk to her husband, explain her feelings, and decide what to do next. Unfortunately, her heart was already in pieces, and she understood that the consequences of her actions would be significant. In the last days on the island, Valeria tried to enjoy every moment with Alex, but inside, she felt empty. She realized that this journey had become not just a physical one, but an emotional one. Each evening they spent together, but Valeria could no longer fully give herself to those moments. Her thoughts were consumed by what awaited her at home. She even thought that perhaps her feelings for Alex were just a temporary infatuation, but that didn't ease her internal struggles. Finally, the time came to return home. Valeria boarded the plane with a heavy heart, filled with emotions and memories. She looked out the window, watching the island fade from view, and realized that this journey had changed her forever. She could not forget Alex and the feelings he had awakened in her, but she also could not betray her husband. Acknowledging that her life could not remain the same, she knew she had to be honest. Upon returning home, Valeria put on a smile and tried to act as if nothing had happened. but inside her, a storm was brewing. In the evening, when her husband returned from work and embraced her, she felt tears welling up in her eyes. She knew she had to talk to him, and although it would be difficult, she was ready for it. When they sat down at the table, Valeria gathered all her strength. She began to share her feelings, how she had felt lost, how she had sought something more than just routine. With every word, she felt something inside her being released. Her husband listened attentively, and although his heart was breaking, he understood that honesty was the only way to rebuild. After that conversation, Valeria realized that their relationship needed renewal. They began to work on themselves, opening up to each other about their emotions and fears. It wasn't easy, but both understood that a better future was only possible through honesty and openness. Valeria returned to her life, but now she knew that she had to fight for her feelings and strive for happiness. Valeria's story is not just a tale of a woman's infidelity, it is a story about self-discovery, about how important it is to be honest with oneself and with others. She learned to appreciate moments, even the hardest ones, and understood that only through difficulties can one find the path to true happiness.
Muhafız duvar seni koruyabilir.